Well, hello there everyone, how is it going today? Thank you so much for tuning in, because we are rocking and rolling. We're talking about taking these simple licks and making them complicated, kind of the opposite of what we normally do here. So if you would like tabs for all these licks, they are down below. I do recommend it to follow along with a lot of this stuff. And you can also check out my free guitar course. I really think that it actually ties in very nicely to what we're covering here about, you know, kind of expanding on these more scalier, is that a word? Scalier ideas, but check it out if you want to. So yes, we're gonna talk about taking very simple ideas and expanding them, building them into much more complex ideas, and just trying to, you know, get something more out of one lick versus just kind of thinking like, oh, that's all I can do with that one. It's like, no, there's a lot of stuff we can do. So let's go ahead and get going. Alright, so let's dive on into these. So example number 1. So this one is taking a very simple idea, and it's just a, you know, a very basic A minor triad is all it is. It's 2-string arpeggio. So I'm playing 10 on the B string, 8 on the high E, and then 12 on the high E. And notice my picking is down, down, up, so I'm doing basically 1 down through 2 strings, and then a single up. And all I'm going to do to expand this, to make it more complicated, is play it in octaves. This is something I talk about a lot in videos. I think octaves are extremely powerful. And I'm just going to move up here, start on the low E string, so 5 on the low E, 3, 7 on the A, then I go to 7 on the D, 5, 7 on the G, 10 on the B, and then 8, 12 on the high. So, and there we have it. And then we have that one. And the picking stays the same for that one, so when I'm ascending, so down, down, up. If I descend, it goes down, up, up for picking. Okay, so example number 2 is a very common, you know, pentatonic lick, this one right here. You hear it all the time, lots of solos have used this one. So it's like, how do we expand on that? Well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the shape and we're going to move it through our scale versus staying stationary like it does in the more traditional version of it. So we're going like this. Sorry. And we're getting a lot of these flat 5s all over the place. Kind of gives it a little bit more of an edge to it. So I'm starting out pretty much the same frets. It goes 12, 15, 12 on the G, and then 14 on the D. Picking, I don't think it's so crucial on this one. Let's see, I'm going up, down. Sometimes I go down, up. You know, it just depends. So we have the first part. Okay, now we're gonna move down a string, same exact shape. And we're gonna go 12, 15, 12, and then 14 on the G. So that's kind of the more traditional version. Now I shift back a little bit here, and I'm going to go 10 to 12 on the G, and then I go to 11 on the G. There's that flat 5 again getting snuck in there. And then to, you know, I wanted a more dramatic sound, so I shifted up, you know, pretty high. And I'm going to go 15 to 18 on the high string, and back to 15, and then to 17 on the B. And again, you know, it's the same overall shape everywhere. But it's kind of a cool lick, you know, if you're kind of playing over. All right, so example number 3 is, again, another pretty typical pentatonic idea, this. And I'm simply going 10 to 8 on the high A string, doing a pull off. Then I go to the B string, and I go 10, 8, which I pick, and I hammer back onto 10. So I go, then I go to 8 on the high string. Okay, and I just cycle through that and repeat that. So. Now, for this one, what I chose to do to make it more complex is I'm adding a much wider stretch. I'm still staying in the key of A minor, so I'm not jumping to a different key or anything like that, but a much wider stretch. And to me, it gives it this this sound of complexity, and it's really not that complex. It just has a bigger stretch in it. So the lick is this. So we're going to go 13 to, was 8 on the high string, and then 12, 8, 12 on the B, and then back to 8. So the picking and everything is exactly the same, just a bigger stretch. You can move up here and do some really, some really big stretches if you wanted to. But it's just a fun one, and I like that real big interval sound. I do it a lot in my own playing. Stuff like that. I just like that, it's taking a very simple idea. And just has so much new life into a more simple lick. Okay, so next is kind of this chord-ish looking thing. It's basically a power chord. Just your root and your fifth, and then there's just another octave of your root. Now, what's happening here is, actually I'm up here, sorry. Wrong frets. But when I was doing that, I was like, I don't remember it being in this key. So, so what we have here is this. So we're gonna go 7, 8, 10 on the B string. This is the first kind of opening section. So say you have that and you really like the way that sounds over, whatever the chord progression is or riff, and it's like, well, how do I make it less, I don't want to say it's boring, but, it kind of is boring, it's just, well, for starters, let's change the pattern. Let's get those notes out of that order. So for starters, we're going to go 7 on the G, and then 10 on the B, and then go to 8. So it goes, it goes 7, 10, 7, 8. Okay, now when I play that 8, I'm actually going to slide up, and the shape stays the same. I go up to 10, and then I go 9, 12, 9, 10, so... And I slide up to 13 on the B. So I go 12, 15, 12, 13, up to 15 on the B string. So I go... You can actually do it again. If you wanted to. Then you can kind of like alter the shape. But that's the overall idea of it. Sorry. And I really like stuff like that. You can really have fun sliding it around. And the final idea, it starts out what looks like your typical pentatonic. Oh, sorry. Okay, just like that. Now, here's what we're going to do to this one. And this is something that was really eye-opening for me as a player, is we're going to alter where some of the note placement is. So instead of going like this, here, like you normally would, and this is how you kind of start breaking out of this box of playing in the pentatonic boxes and stuff like that, is I'm going to get this note here. So, and instead of going, I'm going to go... I'm sliding. That way I'm always moving. I'm moving to a new area. So there's lots of new possibilities. I could go, move into different areas, different licks, different chord tones are available, all kinds of stuff. So that's the first part. It goes 15, 12 on the high E and B, and I slide down to 10. So that's replacing that 14 on the G. It's the same lick. But now we get a cool slide sound. Then I'm going to go 12, 10 on the B, 12, 9 on the G, I'm sliding down to 7. So we've basically transitioned from box 1 to box 5, and now now I'm transitioning down to box 4. So the next part is going to go 7, 9, then 7, 9, and I'm sliding down to 5. So, okay, so now I'm gonna go, what is this? 7, 5 on the D, 7, 5 on the A, slide down to 2. Now we will work our way down to box number 2. And then this one I'm gonna add a little note that's not quite pentatonic in here just to make it flow. I'm gonna go 5 to 2, 5 to 3, and I slide down to 2. Then open low E string, so I go. So all together you'd have. And there's that one. Alrighty guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. Hope you got something out of that lesson. I'm going to be hopping on out of here, but like I said before, get the tabs, all that good stuff, and I will be seeing you all. Well, I'll be seeing you all very soon with another video. Peace out, homies. Keep on rocking, and I'll be seeing you later.